This morning, as I was walking my dog, as I always do early in the morning, all of a sudden I was confronted by someone, a woman who I've seen in the neighborhood before, never had any issues with her. And since I've seen her in the neighborhood before and I never had any issues with her, I didn't think much of what was going to happen as I was approaching her. So I'm walking my dog. She's standing in the middle of the sidewalk with her dog, and her dog's going nuts, like unruly. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, she's trying to train her dog. Her dog, looks like it might be a younger dog, whatever. And as I'm approaching, she's looking at me in a menacing way. Like she has a weird wide stance, and I'm like, I still am not thinking much of it. I'm just thinking, okay, she's probably irritated with her dog acting like this. So let me just go around her. So I literally walk into the street in order to go around her and her dog. As I do that, she starts with her crazy unruly dog approaching me and Charlie, essentially like sicking her dog at me, but not letting the dog loose from the leash. Thank God.
You heard that right. Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks recently went on her show to talk about an incident that occurred while she was walking her dog, where she was confronted by an individual who saw some things about her on the internet.com, and of course has the opposite position on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And this person allegedly confronted Ana Kasparian on the streets, was harassing her, and indicated to Ana that she was a part of or aware of the campaign to get her husband fired from his job due to the fact that Ana holds political positions that this person doesn't like. And again, this person perceives Ana Kasparian to be anti-Semitic. Now, before we break this down, before we talk about who Ana is blaming for this particular incident beyond the person who actually confronted her on the street, I just want to make something 100% clear and as unambiguously clear as possible. And I say this as somebody who is a certified, according to you guys in the comments, Israeli shill who has a Mossad agent writing the non-existent scripts for all of my videos. This is an absolute hell no. Nobody should ever do this. I find this to be repugnant and disgusting. Do not confront people on the streets in a threatening manner because you don't like what they say on the internet.com. Leave them alone. There are appropriate venues in order to debate and actually counteract people like Ana Kasparian, people like me. But if you approach people on the street who are on this side of the camera, I have a NATO-like feeling like this. An attack on one is an attack on all. I am going to invoke Article 5, and we are going to eliminate you for the United States of America, and we're going to sing God Bless America while we do this. So to be clear, no matter what the truth of the allegations or allegations are,
false allegations and not facts,
I do not give a damn. You do not confront people on the streets, you don't harass people in public, and you don't target people's family members, to people's loved ones, because you disagree with their politics, even if I happen to disagree with their politics as well. So you guys understand that, you get where I'm coming from, you understand my position, because that is not changing. And by the way, every single individual who has any kind of public profile that ends up cheerleading this, like Michael Rappaport or Officer Tatum, shame on them.
Shame on y'all.
Because they should know better. Now, like I said, we are going to break this down, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay? At that point, by the way, I'm listening to music. I'm minding my own business. I'm trying to avoid her. And then when she's like coming at me with her dog, I like take my headphones out and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, you're a Jew hater.
So Ana is describing this scene right here, and again, I understand that a lot of people are going to say, just based on Ana recounting these events, that she could be exaggerating, she could be making this up, but there's actually a supporting video later on, so for those of you who are more skeptical-minded, I appreciate you, I always appreciate you, but we do have indication from this follow-up video, from a follow-up interaction, that does indicate that, at least in broad strokes, what Ana is saying is true. But again, again, more importantly than any individual detail, whether or not the dog was unruly because it was a young dog, or the dog was particularly vicious, or the person was aiming the dog at Ana, or the dog was going at Ana's dog, or anything of the sort, this person appears to have known who Ana Kasparian is, has appeared to have known about the campaign against her, and decided that she was going to show up and confront her on the streets, again, about stuff related to internet politics. And I know that the foreign conflict is an actual war, there are actual casualties, it does in fact matter, but guess what? This is unacceptable behavior, and if you did something like this to me, if you showed up on the streets in an unfriendly way when I was with my wife or one of my loved ones, you are going to get an insane reaction out of me. Now, I've been lucky over the past week. I've actually been spotted and recognized a couple times. A notable one, by the way, was while I was out at a restaurant eating ramen, but those interactions were super friendly. Those interactions were super enjoyable, unlike this particular thing. But guess what? This is always a concern that everybody on this side of the camera has, whether they cover politics or not. This is completely unacceptable. And again, I'm 100% on Ana's side in terms of this interaction. And to be clear, if I disagreed with Ana on every issue, if this kind of thing happened to Cenk's nephew on the streets and he was confronted in this weird, creepy way, I would be on the side of Cenk's nephew. And you know I can't stand that guy because, again, there's a level of respect, there's a bright red line, and you should not cross it. So again, we are going to analyze this person's complaints against Ana, but I need you guys to understand that anybody who's endorsing this, to me, they're not obviously on the same level because Ana was thankfully not physically hurt, and obviously she was not killed in this particular instance, but I think of them in the same vein that I think of creators that were backing up the assassination of Charlie Kirk or downplaying it or something like that. It's just a line that we all need to understand needs to be maintained and not crossed. And it's absolute insanity that there are people that are on the opposite side of this particular issue, which again is the confrontation issue, not the political issue that preceded the confrontation issue.
And I'm like, okay, well, obviously there's a misunderstanding, so let me have a conversation with her. But she's like screaming at me. It's 7 a.m. And I'm like, wait, hold on. And then she brings up, oh, you were rubbing your hands and making fun of the Jews.
Now, again, I'm 100% on Ana's side in this particular instance, but I'm gonna have to rule against her slightly, at least in one regard, in that she was up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Ana, what are you even doing? You're an internet creator. You're supposed to wake up at noon at the absolute earliest, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself for waking up so early.
Shame on y'all.
Just kidding, folks, just kidding. But again, as you can hear, one of the things that is being brought up by this person who's angry at Ana Kasparian is the rubbing of the hands incident when referring to Larry Ellison, which we will talk about in just a little bit. But again, like I said, bright red line, do not cross, do not come up to people on the streets, don't intimidate them. Again, it's just a cowardly and unfair thing to do because you know who that person is, you can spot them, but they're completely unaware until you approach that you are even in an argument, you're even in a dispute with them, and to me, that's crazy. I mean, Lauren Southern in her book, This Is Not Real Life, had a phrase that I absolutely loved. It's not parasocial relationship, it's like a parapsychotic relationship, and to me, this rings 100% true right here.
And I'm like, wait, hold on. And then she brings up, oh, you were rubbing your hands and making fun of the Jews. This is Canary Mission propaganda, full stop. And it's in reference to this. Let me show you what they've posted on social media. Now, they claim that I'm doing the happy merchant meme, which by the way, I've seen that photo all over the internet before. I didn't know it was called the happy merchant meme. I don't live in 4chan, okay? We were talking about one specific person, so I brought that up to her. I was like, I was talking about Larry Ellison, one specific person who wants to surveil us 24/7, so we're all on our best behavior. And then she immediately switched to a different aggrieved, issue that she had, the other issue that she's aggrieved about.
So the lady's upset about Ana apparently doing the happy merchant thing, and obviously you could see that Canary Mission ended up superimposing the image over what Ana Kasparian was doing. And by the way, when I saw this video, to be 100% clear, my first instinct when I was seeing it was Ana was doing the thing, but I also did not know that this was called the happy merchant thing. But anyway, point being, it did look like Ana was doing that 100%. And then Cenk goes on to rant about how the pro-Israeli lobby planted all these different various things in order to have tropes to trip over.
Yeah, and so look, I feel like the pro-Israel radicals have planted so-called tropes all around us so that you're never allowed to criticize Israel in any way, shape, or form, or in any style, or with any body motions, or with any words, because everything's a trope.
And look, I'm 100% on Ana's side in terms of the confrontation against her, but what Cenk is saying right here, and by the way, the bulk of this video, like 90% of it, is Cenk ranting and raving, to me is nonsensical in every possible way. This is a very classic propaganda image, and to be clear, Ana did look like she was doing that. Now, she explains that she was like doing like a villain thing, and you might think to yourself that that is a crazy explanation and you don't believe it. And by the way, a lot of people who do despise the Jews were actually cheering Ana on. But considering Ana went for like a year doing the Kyle Rittenhouse was chasing somebody, even though the video showed the exact opposite, and then when she found out about it, she went out of her way to apologize for being wrong, I do actually think that it is possible that coincidentally it looks exactly like it. But to be clear, my first instinct, 100%, was Ana was doing the thing. And I thought it was insane that Ana was doing the thing. But Cenk saying that they just came up with this overnight, it's absurd. Like, this image has been around for a very long time. It's been used in Nazi propaganda, again, anti-Semitic propaganda for years. So they're not making the connection out of nothing. Now, of course, let me be clear, this does not excuse in any way, shape, or form confronting Ana on the street. But I just don't like the way that Cenk is talking about this right here. Honestly, it makes me feel a little bit more sketched out about it, rather than saying, yeah, I was talking about Larry Ellison, I was trying to do a villain-like thing, and it ended up looking like that. I understand why people see it like that, but that being said, I was not doing the Jew thing. Like, let's be clear about that. Like, that's what I would say if I did something like that. I remember Shoe-On-Head got into like a controversy where she made a joke about a black person, and it was like related to like an ape or a monkey or something of the sort, and Shoe ended up saying that she genuinely did not know that it was considered a racist trope or whatever to compare black people to monkeys or apes. Again, I don't remember the exact circumstance. I feel like it was related to like Leslie Jones and Ghostbusters, if I can remember correctly, but I don't want to like tag Shoe-On-Head with something unnecessarily. But yeah, she was like, yeah, okay, I didn't know that was a thing. It was not my intention, but my bad. Like, I think that would be the appropriate response, not Cenk saying the Israelis planted this thing that pre-exists the nation of Israel. Like, I don't like this. I just want to be clear about that.
Other than them, okay? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, can I do this? Can I talk? Can I say anything?
Your existence is a trope.
No, but Larry Ellison is an evil guy who is taking over all of this media for propaganda for Israel, but you're not allowed to rub your hands about it. You're not allowed to talk about it. Okay. They say we're taking over media, but you're not allowed to say they're taking over media. So they're allowed to do it, but you're not allowed to say it. No, I don't listen to any of your stupid rules or tropes. All right, anyway, back to your story.
So again, Cenk ends up ranting again for like 3 minutes about this and that and rubbing your hands and how that was never a thing, even though it was definitely a thing. Let's be clear, Cenk, I don't know what you're doing, and honestly, I don't appreciate it because you're kind of muddying the waters in Ana's story. But Ana gets to the point where she talks about how this person brought up her husband. Ana said, my husband loves me, and then the woman reportedly said that that's why they're trying to get Ana's husband fired.
Before we get to Canary Mission and the propaganda they put out there in order to get people to target me like this, after she attempts to attack me with her dog, the only thing I have on the top of my mind is I need to get my dog to safety because I have a small dog, okay? He's 20 pounds. So as I'm walking away, she says to me, good luck to your husband dealing with you. And I say, my husband loves me. And she responds with, that's why we're trying to get him fired.
And again, this is where we get to that bright red line where I find this to be unacceptable, because you cannot like Ana. You can look at her doing the thing that definitely, to be clear, looks like the happy merchant thing and condemn her for it. But the idea that you're trying to get her husband fired, which by the way actually predates this particular incident, the idea that you're going to harass her on the street, can't have it. It's unacceptable. If you did this to my wife, the reaction that I would have, and I'm like the nicest guy ever. I'm honestly the greatest human being in the history of the internet.com. No way it would be acceptable behavior. Make no mistake about it. But again, this part is absolutely crucial, even though Ana says that she doesn't think it's like a lone wolf thing.
To me, that was the sign that this isn't some lone wolf situation. She's part of an organized group that's not just attempting to destroy me, but destroy my husband's livelihood, when my husband has nothing to do with my career, nothing to do with, guy doesn't even like politics. Okay, he works in athletics, he works at a school, he loves his students love him, but they want to destroy him because he refused to put out a statement condemning his wife. Incessantly they demand that he put out a statement condemning his wife. He's not gonna do that. Okay? You're not gonna get in between a marriage because your feelings are hurt over my criticism of a foreign government.
Even though I do think it could be a quote unquote lone wolf thing, like this person realized Ana is in and around her neighborhood, maybe, again, we'll find out. Ana says she's filing a police report against her, and she happens to be aware of the stuff that's being posted on the internet.com by these organizations, but it is entirely possible that we could find out later that this woman is a member of one of the organizations that happens to be targeting Ana and her husband. And to be clear, I just want to make this understandable to everybody out there in the audience. If the Canary Mission or any of these pro-Israeli groups want to go after Ana on the internet.com, they can feel free to do so. Like, that's part of the game. You open yourself up to criticism when you start throwing opinions out online. But again, targeting her husband and her husband's employer, over the line. Targeting Ana in person, totally over the line. And if you can't see that, then you're just not in the right headspace to be engaging with internet content.
So at that point, we approach her, and I decide I'm gonna file a police report, and I don't know this woman's name. I wanna have an image of her, I wanna have a video of her, I wanna have a video of her dog. And so get a load of her behavior here, where all of a sudden, now that I'm recording, she's pretending like she's the victim when she's the one who tried to sick her dog at me and Charlie, and pay very close attention to her treatment of her own dog, how her dog is behaving, and what she's saying. Do you think it was appropriate for you to try to sick your dog on me?
I did not.
Do you think that was appropriate to sick your dog at me? You sicked your dog at me.
I told you to stay away from me because my dog is barking.
Was that appropriate? Was it appropriate for you? Was it
Get
appropriate?
away from me.
Look at
Dude, can I talk to you?
No. Why did you try to sick your dog at me?
I told you to get away from me.
Because you don't like my political views?
I told you to get like this.
Psycho.
I told you to stop
Totally insane.
following me.
Now you're acting different because you're being
I told you to
recorded,
get
right?
away from me. I told you to get away from me. I told you my dog is barking.
So look, you guys know how I feel about this. You guys know how I feel about two individuals arguing while they're filming, the phones being held up. You guys know that I think this is the death of all human interaction. But that being said, in this particular case, I think it's crucial for you guys to understand that this woman right here apparently knew who Ana was. That is what is being communicated to us out here in the audience from Ana's own video. But Ana doesn't know who she is. So I do think there is value in her getting an image of this woman, because again, it's like an unfair dynamic that somebody can know who you are, know your political beliefs, target you on the street, and you don't know them from a hole in the wall. So I'm willing to excuse Ana doing the thing, doing this thing, but that woman right there doing the thing, I'm not in support of it. But again, all of this right now is like uncorroborated. All of this is alleged. I mean, there is a woman, there is an argument, there is a back and forth. Ana went upstairs and got her husband. I just want to point out for everybody that in general, I would actually advise against this, because essentially you're re-engaging in another confrontation. And if it wasn't some like doddering woman or whatever, you could be in a situation where the person feels threatened and they have a weapon, and this ends up spiraling out of control. But again, in this particular case, I'm giving an exception because you do want identifying information if you plan to report it. But I'm just saying, overall, don't do this. This is my advice to you guys out there in the audience. but there's a clip in this video that really set me off. And in fact, it's the whole reason why I'm making this video.
She's denying everything, but what's really interesting is in the next clip that I'm gonna show you, she tells on herself, because remember, she talked about how they're trying to get my husband fired. Tell my husband about it. We go and confront her about what she's saying and what she did to me. And pay close attention to what she says here. Watch.
Wait.
Go ahead.
You're trying to get me fired.
No, I did not. I said I'm telling everybody about her.
No, that's what she just said. You're trying to
You said that you're trying to get my husband fired.
Everybody's trying to get him fired.
Exactly. Yeah, you're part of that, everybody.
So by the way, I'm cutting around like 3 minutes of jank ranting again about Israel and going crazy and doing all kinds of hyperboles and trying to give you the actual point of this interaction. And right there, I think that is the red flag where the woman says, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say I was trying to get your husband fired. I said that everybody's trying to do it or some people are trying to do it, which again ends up validating a key portion of the story, which is that this woman knew who Ana was, decided to confront her on the street, and with all other parts of the interaction that aren't on film, you can put those into question. The fact is, at least as of right now, this woman knew who Ana was, and there was some kind of confrontation, and again, I can't abide by it. I can't happen. Article 5 is going to be invoked. I know you might not think that all the NATO allies are equal to other NATO allies. They're not as valuable, but an attack on one is an attack on all, and I just can't greenlight this type of behavior, and honestly, I find it disgusting that people are greenlighting this because it happens to be around the issue of Israel. Again, I'm somebody who disagrees with Ana on this particular issue. I disagree with Ana on a whole host of issues. She is way more on the left than I am. Can't have it. Cannot accept it. Definitely not on board with it. Absolutely unacceptable. Again, just stop. People, you need to relax. There's like time, place, and manner that you are to engage with these people. If you go to an event, they give you the microphone. Feel free to put out your ideas and try to rip Ana apart in a Q&A session. If you want to write her a nasty, non-threatening comment or tweet at her, feel free to do so. But do not confront people on the streets in their neighborhood. Again, ambush them. Don't bring your weirdo dog during that process. It's just not a good look. Honestly, I just don't appreciate it. And I 100% understand Ana's anger right here, even though, again, when I first looked at that video, before I heard Ana's explanation, which again, I honestly think it's kind of defying of all logic, but I understand based on her past that there are things that I assume that everybody knows that she might not know, that I thought the same thing about that particular image. I totally understood where people were coming from, because to me, I thought she was doing the thing. It was the first thing I thought, even before it went viral. I was watching the Young Turks live, because you guys know I be invested like that, and that's the first thing I thought the minute that it happened. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe they're doing it. But that's the thing. It's one thing for you to assume that. It's one thing for you to do a canary mission thing, which I know Ana's angry about, and post about it and do the juxtaposition of the image to what Ana was doing, but it's another thing for you to confront somebody on the street about it. Guys, like, there's a line. It's unacceptable in every possible way, and it doesn't matter if I agree with you. I can't have this kind of stuff going on, or at least we can't have this kind of stuff going on, and anybody would understand this if the person were on the other side of the issue. This would be unacceptable to do to a pro-Palestinian person or a more right-leaning person. Whatever you need to do to make the person more aligned with your beliefs, this is crazy. And again, there's plenty of people that I know that can't stand Ana, that criticize her all the time, and a lot of the criticism that they have is valid criticism, and if this happened to them, I would 100% stick up for them. If this happened to one of my critics, I would 100% stick up for them.
So in the middle of that, you hear her saying, no, I said everybody's trying to get him fired, thus confirming what I said earlier, but more importantly, that this woman apparently knows everything about me, knows who my husband is, know where he works, knows about the campaign to try to get him fired. So she was standing there in the middle. I walk my dog, and maybe this is a mistake. I walk my dog at the same time every day. I have a super packed, regimented schedule. I don't want to talk to anybody when I'm walking my dog. I just want to do what I need to do to help my dog relieve himself and get back home so I can get back to work. Okay, I'm not looking for trouble. I'm not accosting people. I'm not confronting people. She decided to literally wait in the middle of the sidewalk with her dog to intimidate me like that. And when I walked around her, I walked into the street. When I walked around her into the street in order to avoid her, she starts approaching me with her dog in a threatening manner and then acts like she's the victim.
Look, I know asking for reason on this particular issue is damn near impossible. And by the way, a perfect example of a person descending into madness throughout the whole course of this segment is Cenk Uygur and his commentary and all the crazy things that he says in this particular segment. But in reality, if you do want to find a reasonable discussion on the topic, if you do want to see somebody take apart many of the arguments that Cenk and Ana utilize on their show, I highly recommend you watch Coleman Hughes versus Dave Smith, because Coleman Hughes has read everything that these people have read. He understands the full context of all the quotes that these people bring up, and that's the way that you do it. That's the way that you engage. You do not confront people on the street. You do not call family members employers. You do not dox people. You don't harass them in real life. And again, like I said, but for the grace of God, I could have been in a position where I got recognized by an unfriendly and they could have came after me. And again, just in recent weeks, like last week, I'm at a ramen place and I'm recognized by somebody who was totally chill, loved my videos about bail reform, but that could have been a very negative interaction. And as somebody on this side of the camera, I gotta tell you guys, I gotta be 100% honest, that is something that I'm highly concerned about. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social medias, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Ana Kasparian getting confronted and how it's unacceptable. Till next time.